a simple house plan here. This is to illustrate and give you a wonderful opportunity to see the basic sculpting techniques. Now what we've got here is your basic trash can pound up. We filled it up halfway. We're about up to here, I think. And this shows a top view looking down. I did this little sketch just to give students and volunteers an opportunity to see the basic technique here. This is a wonderful little idea, or one little sketch here. This is looking down. We're going to turn this round part of sand, sort of a cylinder sand, or solid cylinder sand, we're going to make it into a square. Cut these parts away, and then when we get that block, this is the front view of the house, of the structure. We're going to cut away for the top of the roof. And again, you can add as much or as little detail as you want for this. There's a window and there's a chimney on the outside too. Again, when we start roughing it out, we got to leave room for the chimney on the top. And we move down here. This is a shot looking again from the top down, showing the recesses where the windows will be, and the little sills and the doorway and the chimney. And again, this is a side view of it. We're aiming for this right here. Just your basic, real simple little house pattern. You could spend an entire day on this, putting in shingles, putting in bricks in the chimney. As much time as you've got, you can get going and go crazy with this stuff. In fact, it's somewhat hypnotic when you start sculpting. You'll find out, you know what I mean when you start. So let's go ahead and pull this off and start carving away. Okay, get that out of the way. We already popped the bucket once. Now, the tools we're going to be using for this, the level I'm just pulled out here just to illustrate that you can use this to help it. I'm just going to go and just sort of eyeball it, which is fun too. I like to do that. But you can use a level to get the edges straight, and I'll demonstrate that. You can use a 1.5 inch and that big spreader that we got, and then a 3/4 inch. Okay? What you need to establish is which direction you want the building to face. We're doing that simple house, and so we've got to have that facing the direction we want. You can do it any direction. Let's see. We'll get the top flattened off first. Just carve it away. Again, I'm using the big spreader. Give yourself a nice flat surface to work on. Now, as you're working, you're going to find little pieces of stuff, little rocks and stuff, but you can prepare them so quickly generally. Don't worry about them. Okay. Now, I want to have the front of the building on this face right here, the side of the building over here. Our chimney will be somewhere over here, and the back, and then the other side. You need to establish the roof line. So you just put a line down the middle, basically. Okay, and remember the drawing, we need to make a block out of this. We need to square it up. And again, we use the big spreader because it's so nice, such a nice flat straight edge. And make sure all the lines are square. You can make it taller or thinner or wider, whatever you want to do. Make a long house. Okay. We've established the roof line where we want the top of the roof to be. We've established the sides, the front, the side, and the back. So now what you do is just start carving it away. I'm using this tool again, but you can use a bigger one. Again, don't worry about making mistakes. That's what this is all about. But isn't that wonderful? Look at the sand. It just carves away. It's just amazing. These big tools are excellent because they give you a flat surface. You can make things real nice and smooth. I'm trying to get this vertical and flat. Sort of chop away at it. So I'll look up, down. Okay, get one more. Hit a little rock over there, but that's okay. Now we'll come along and do the other side over here. Always carve from the outside in. And just take your time and get a feel for the material. You want to carve When you start getting to your finish line or closer to where you want the end of the wall to be or whatever you're making, sort of slow down a little bit and start taking smaller cuts. Okay, now this is the front of the building again, so we've got to take these chunks out. So we'll give ourselves a little bit of a roof line here. I'll get over here. This is the middle of our building, and this comes over. And you can just eyeball it at first. If you want to make an exact, even roof with the same angle of pitch, what you need to do is give yourself a vertical line. This is a lot of what we do when we're doing a bunch of series of buildings. We give ourselves a long line, a vertical line, and then you get a horizontal line about to the point where you want to establish a cross. Now let me show you instead of trying to explain it. Make a straight line. Feel a bump right there, and I don't like it. Get that out of there. Okay. Okay, now all I have to do is measure the distance from here to here and make it the same on both sides. So let's say it's about to there. Just my thumb is a marker. Okay. By keeping my eye on the spot, I know that's the spot it needs to cross. Now, I simply connect the top of the roof with the point that intersects that horizontal level line that we made. And that'll give us a nice, straight, even pitched roof. They'll both be the same on both sides. Okay, so I can do this. Okay, that's the same side, and the other one we've already established. Now, okay, we'll go ahead and start chopping off the roof, getting down to where the roof's going to be. And again, move outside of your finish line. The closer you get to that, the easier cut. When you come to the edge of any work you're working on, if you're pushing out, it can be dangerous because the sand can be pushed away and broken. You always want to, when you're getting to the finish line, cut into the block, the mass. So when it carves away, it won't tear away. Okay. Okay, now I'll just start tearing into this. The more work that you'll do, you'll find you'll get a little more confident and more courageous, and you'll start cutting and carving a lot faster. Generally, when beginners start out, just like me, I was so afraid to carve, I didn't even do anything. I just kind of whittled away at it because I was afraid to wreck it. Well, the whole idea here is just to learn and try, and you don't know how far too far is until you go too far. So, go ahead and just hack away, as it were. And don't worry about that too much, you know. The objective here is to have fun and see what you can do. Okay. And all the while, you can just keep an eye on things, keep things kind of trimmed up and straight. There's a little bit of a bow in it, so I want to catch that. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing over here. Now this is the top of our roof right here. And this is the chunk we'll take away now. We've got to remember that there's going to be a chimney over here. So same as before, we'll just kind of rough out where we want our chimney. Well, let's say about right there. So as I'm carving down, I need to remember not to carve that away. Same thing, we'll just cut this away. And again, notice the technique, I'm pushing in, and I'm not just pushing away. If I push away, this whole thing could blow off a little bit easier. And I'm working outside my finish line. If you don't have a finish line and you're just sort of using, you know, your own creativity, that's great too. You don't have to make it like any particular thing unless that's what your objective is. You're trying to make a sort of a model or a sculpture of a specific thing. Okay, this is the chimney we're going to have right here, so we got to remember that. Now the roof eave on this side, we've got this plane established basically. We've got the same thing on this side, so this is going to come along. The chimney is reset just a little bit into the eave of the roof. So we carry that line across. And remember, that angle of the roof carries through. So I'll keep that going all the way through. Again, I'm looking down the side. Looking down the side gives you the best perspective on whether or not it's vertical or not. I can see you looking this way, you know, it's got a bow this way or that way. So always move around. Don't, you know, if you stay in one place, you'll tend to find it looking great from that one perspective. But when you move, all of a sudden you see it's a little bit of cattywampus going over here. Who invented the word cattywampus? It's kind of a strange word. Okay, now I'm working the back here. As you can see, the chimney's starting to come out of the shape. When I started out in sand sculpture, I did a lot more architectural stuff because I've got a pretty good eye for seeing, you know, flat planes. The stuff that's more difficult, the sculpting that's more difficult, is soft sculpture. Okay, I'll finish this up. Pull it out of there. Again, I'm pulling it, my effort is going away from the edge. And again, just takes practice to get a little better at it, get a feel for it. Some of the people I've worked with are architects, and they know exactly how buildings are supposed to fit together. I'm not an architect, so sometimes I put rooms where they're not supposed to be. In fact, I'm famous for that. I'm famous for air conditioning ducts. I make things into everything's an air conditioning duct, which is rather strange, but it's okay. Okay, now we're just about got it basically blocked out, is the term we use. Sort of blocking stuff out. You're taking blocks of material, the larger blocks out of there. Again, I'm getting to finer areas. I'm using this just a smaller pressure and moving it up away very gently. And I can see whether or not it's vertical. I can get a much better perspective. And if you're not sure, you can use the levels we use. In fact, we even use levels that are 6 feet long sometimes when we're working at a much bigger scale.